And with that knowing and the balancing act and the buffonite, be careful of what it is that you're chasing at the moment, Leo. Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Mars if you want, North Node, and it's to be published for June 2020, so hopefully it's for June 2020, but as I will say in a moment, timing's not absolute, so whenever you're led to it, if it's useful for you, it's useful for you. This is a general reading, so general reading rules apply. As in, if somebody else appears in the reading, I may be talking about you, I may be talking about them. I don't know. The cards don't have name tags, so roles can end up getting reversed. So bear that in mind if someone else pops their head up. Like I say, timing's not absolute. These readings either are for you or they're not, or at least they are not at the moment, because there is a past and a present in my spread. And if the past and the present don't fit, then the reading's not for you. Don't try and make it fit. Doesn't mean that it won't fit in 6 months' time or something, but at the minute, no, not for you. Go and watch your sun, your moon, your rising. Now, if you don't know what they are, there's a link down below in the description that sends you off to get yourself a free birth chart. Also, while we're talking about down there, there is a link to a Facebook group, page, associated with this channel, where obviously I post these videos, but I also post the astrology videos I'm learning from, other readers, and the odd documentary, as it turns out. I posted my first one of them the other day. So yeah, it either is for you or it isn't. But what I'd also like you to do is ask a question prior to the reading. So think about all of the questions that surround you at the moment. Pick one of them and focus on it. Send that energy out, because basically energy out, energy in, or rather energy in, energy out is more to the case. Because if your question's not answered by my reading, the universe will find a way to answer it one way or another. So yeah, just send that intention out. However, be aware of all of the questions that you got floating around you, because the cards will answer whatever they please to, and not what necessarily you or I think is the most priority question. So I think that's everything. Yeah, if the reading means anything to you, please do comment, or comment about anything, the format, anything that you would like to know. Feel free to comment. I always respond to all of my comments, and while you're heading down there, press the like or subscribe button. The like helps boost the video, and the subscribe obviously helps the channel. And I'm still only a baby channel. I'm 7 months old, I think. I might nearly be 8 months old. But thank you very much to everyone who has commented, liked, shared, subscribed. I don't get to know about the shares, but hey ho. Right, let's bring the cards up. And what I have here, the angel energy that is covering this reading is the angel of knowing. My sense of inner knowing leads me to the light. Now, this is also with Balancing Act, card number 11 from the Enchanted Map Oracle, and from the Carte Infernale or Daemon Tarot, we have Buffonite. So Buffonite or toadstone is a magical stone said to grow within the head of a live toad. The stone harvested from a creature who was used then as an ingredient in many poisons was said to be a powerful antidote. Now, the only one problem with Buffonite is it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's nonsense. It's a myth. Now, I'm not someone to say that all myths, are not true, or that they are. They are what they are. They are myths. They are stories that have been created or corrupted over the centuries. And with that knowing and the balancing act and the buffonite, be careful of what it is that you're chasing at the moment, Leo. The reason I say that is we have, well, how you appear to be feeling is that you're all full of new beginnings. Yes, there is a new beginning happening. And I think that's correct, because on the bottom of the deck, and what I remember from previous Leo readings, we've got the Ten of Swords, an end to torment, and now things are moving quickly. Eight of Wands on both bottoms of the clarification decks. So you're full of new beginnings that you're nurturing and that you're working hard, but I'm worried about the harvest that you're actually going to gain from it. Because the other thing that we have is purity. Now, this purity card is not like a religious purity or a spiritual purity. It is a purity of intent. It is the purity of the silver moon on a snow-laden ground. You know, it is that time of winter where everything is still, everything is hibernated, almost like a reset button has been pressed. And you need to have a pure intent. And to have a pure intent, you need to know where you are heading to. With this Ace of Pentacles, because you're working towards it, that's a very practical new beginning card. You know, we're not talking about the Fool here. We are talking about something that you are making efforts towards. But with Balancing Act and Booth and I'm thinking, are you sure? And that sounds awful because I've not even gone into the cards. But let's face it, you've been a bit confused recently. We have the Hanged Man here. And for your current cards, we've got the Hanged Man right on the bottom. It's almost like you're surging ahead to make the world obey and manifest for you, even though there is an underlying confusion. Now, this underlying confusion has been around for a little while. Whether this is a few days or a few weeks, I don't know. But it's been around for a little while. I'm going to do the reading in chronological order, which I don't normally do. Well, I mean, I've already started waffling. But so, I want to take you back to a time where you had... Ooh... There's a time in the past where you had your wish fulfillment, where everything was happy and positive on a level that you were really, really comfortable with. And you were surging ahead with that to bring that more into... It's the emotional side of things, but it reflected how you were feeling inside. And you wanted to bring it out into the real world. And it worked. It really worked. Ace of Pentacles... King of Coins and Judgment, but you were you were transformed by this process. But I believe that although you managed to achieve that, the world came and shook it down a little, and you discovered that there were certain things you hadn't been paying attention to. The High Priestess here, she's hovering a sphere in one hand and a piece of corrugated iron, or a corrugated shape anyway, in the other. Almost like the warp of a two-dimensional object that is warping, like a sheet of paper, but all of a sudden it's curving, and the sphere, which represents a three-dimensional object. There's also, if you think about what the High Priestess is about, the two towers, wisdom and intuition coming in, but there's that balancing act again of balancing the rational and the irrational. That's what I want to say here. But even though things were shaking, you blossomed within that yourself, and you determined that you was going to head forward. You took on quite a burden to say, I'm getting this back, I'm recreating this, or I'm recreating something analogous to this. I'm going to recreate, or I'm going to create a new situation where I'm feeling that wish fulfillment, I'm feeling that emotional stability, I'm feeling that urge to strive ahead in the world. And yeah, you've got that urge to strive ahead, although it may be a little bit more measured now, considering we're looking at the Seven of Pentacles rather than the Ace of Wands. You know, it's slowly, carefully, stage by stage, and that's how you're approaching it. But confusion set in recently due to new information that has come into you, and due to the fact that you were left through a form of rebirth a little isolated, a little away from everybody. Even though you felt quite grounded, it's almost like you were grounded in an area where there was nobody near you. And I don't feel that this is a deliberate, I am standing on my own and I will be supreme and I will, or even the girl in the garden with the bird on her hand whispering secrets from the divine while she just takes time to herself. It's almost like through your efforts, you were left stable, but on your own. And there was new wisdom came in that just, it's almost like you got one of your wishes and, oh, is that really what I wanted? But now with this, you reacted to that by cutting that something out, which caused no end of anxiety for you recently, which caused somebody else around you to be less than honest with you, even though they are keeping a very close eye on you. It's almost like I do think there is somebody who is telling you to abandon this idea that you've got, that is, they're incredibly defensive. They're creating you to be defensive, and it's quite possible that they're blocking you meeting your peers somehow or some way, but they are using trickery to tell you that the power, personal power, and when I say personal power, it's like being in charge of your own life, being in charge of your own budget, being in charge of your home, being in charge of yourself. Because, like I said, you took on quite a burden to try and rebuild, and you're still committed to it, but I still feel there's that weight of the 10 of Wands here, that someone is whispering to you, including me, by the sounds of it, is it really worth it? Now, the fact is, I don't believe that what they are saying is valid per se, but they are raising some very good questions for you to answer, even though they're raising them for totally the wrong reasons and possibly at the wrong angles. But I think any thoughts that come from their objections and their defensiveness and their blocking of you, any thoughts that come that are on the lines of, right, they are wrong for asking me this because blah, 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 blah. But if I can answer that question, you may find that that question inspires a few more questions. And those questions are ones worth answering for yourself to get that purity of intent. To get that sense of knowing together, rather than just going, yeah, no, that's based on the question that person asked and therefore it doesn't mean anything because they're just trying to undermine me. If you don't answer that question once you've thought of it, you will be undermining yourself, and you have to answer it to your satisfaction. Otherwise, it will sit in the back of your mind going niggle, niggle, niggle. But I do feel that what you are, there is clarity coming in the effort of you trying to level up. And it's almost like you are trying to, and this card's come up for nearly every sign so far this month. But again, there is, and this is you right now, Leo, trying to impose a higher dimensional shape onto a 3-dimensional reality. So I'm talking mathematics, not, well, 4 if you count time. But it's like this cube that the Emperor is both outside and inside, that he's trying to pull down to fill this base cube that he is standing on, that he's wanting to change his very foundations. And no wonder, because you've had your foundations rocked once already, not so recently, which is what has started you on this new beginning aspect. And this has been, like I say, it's been going for a bit of time. But change is coming. And what I want you to make sure is that you have answered all of the questions, one that this person has raised for you, but also that have been raised by you hearing that first question. All the subsequent questions, that's not that person trying to undermine you and trick you. That's you. That's your thought processes. Because there is also, I do feel there is a mental conflict coming. Okay, because you need to check that what you're doing is fair and that you are actually committed to it, because things are going to be changing around you. And to start off, it doesn't look initially on first glance like they're changing for the better. It's almost like some event occurs that makes you go, oh my God, now what do I do? And you're seeing that cartoon crumbling of something falling to pieces. But this is something that you have the strength to face, walk through, endure, solve, whatever it is, if you've got that purity of intent. If you are able to access that strength because you know that strength is there, then you will blossom. We've got the Sun card followed underneath. Yes, Strength card again. Look, strength and strength. So the underlyingness of this issue, which is what this row can sometimes represent, is saying that you will, how you nurture this situation. And remember, you have got to have been fair. And it's also, this may be a decision that comes in from on high, whatever that means. You know, that could mean local council, that could mean a family patriarch or matriarch, that could mean a solicitor or a legal judgment, or a change in resources, you know, so it could even be the economy that does it. And there's plenty of changing resources out in the world at the moment, isn't there? But by you weathering through this, you will get forward motion and recognition in a way that actually pleases and resolves something from way in the past. Maybe resolves this tower event that started this whole process off. But you need to be planning. You need to be walking ahead with... It's almost like you need one foot in the past, one foot in the future, but remember that your middle is in the present. Because there is a transformation coming. There is a door opening that offers you information that you weren't aware of before, but also loss at the same time. I think you may find that you will be relying more and more and more upon yourself. However, if you have balance in what you are doing, which is why I'm saying ask and answer the questions now. We have temperance and temperance with the Queen of Wands. You will be manifesting what you are hoping to, because you are already worried that everything will be taken away and that you will just lose faith in the dream that you're working on, and lose your victory. But that victory is there for you, but it's going to take time. You are going to be working on your own. You are going to be very, very free in the fact that you're working on your own. You'll have made a commitment to some new information that I can see is recently coming in. That recent information that caused all this confusion, it's going to start making sense, but it's not going to make sense quickly. And I think the astrology will back me up on this, because there's a lot about truths in the astrology at the moment, and that's going to carry on for a while. So notice I say it's not truth, it's truths, as in my truth is different to your truth, is different to their truth, is different to the government truth, is different to the corporate truth, is different to the banking establishment's truth, is different to the scientist's truth. All these competing truths. So this is again why you have to ask and answer all of these questions about how you are surging ahead, which you are doing. 8 of Wands, 8 of Wands. And you have to know where you can answer them and where there's no hope of knowing the answer, because it's beyond your power, beyond your sight, beyond your knowledge. Because those additional where's this one from? Oh yeah, those additional answers are going to come in. They're going to come in, where was it? Is it here? Where did I say? Oh no, here, with the upcoming transformation. But you have to, there's an element of, you know, that prayer, give me the courage to change the things I can and accept the things I can't. And I'm sure there's another line to it as well, but I never remember. Give me the wisdom to know the things that I can and respect the things that I can't know. I think is a really important thing to think about. Yes, you can find your personal truth, but you need to be very, very careful about where you are trying to impose your personal truth on something where it does not fit. Because we have Nithaya, from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell here, with spiritual wisdom. Confronted with Gladiolabulus and black magic, which I didn't realise that Gladiolabulus represented that in astrology, because these are astrological connotations for the Goetia and for the Shem Hamefresh. But I've already covered in what I've said. This card, it says meditate and contemplate. We've covered that one. Could this person, if you're into your hocus pocus, maybe somebody is magically acting against you. Maybe. I don't think it matters. It's water off a duck's back, as long as you have answered all of these questions. But believe me, if there is some hocus pocus out there trying to get you, if you are on shaky ground, then you've given it an in. So do not give it an in. Answer all those questions. Right then, Leo. That was not where I expected that reading to end up. But right then, Leo, if this means anything to you, bear in mind it doesn't have to be hocus pocus, okay? If you're not in a hocus pocus black magic sort of community, then don't worry about it. It is what I said it is at the first part of the reading. That's just for a select few, and those select few, you'll know who you are anyway. And quite possibly if I ever meet you, I'll know who you are as well. But it's YouTube and I won't meet you. So anyway, if it means anything to you, comment down below. Yeah, that's it. So there will also be 12 Chinese zodiac readings coming out, and then straight after that, obviously it's the full moon, which I think is in Sagittarius, and then straight after that, the day after, then will hopefully, if my schedule allows, be lunar galactic download readings as the moon once more crosses over the galactic center while still in the influence of the full moon. So that's a big one. Okay, so stay posted, join the Facebook group, comment down below. Don't forget to click subscribe while you're here. Cheers.